There's your statement victory. 3-0 at Old Trafford. Is that good enough for you? What a performance from Tottenham yesterday. And it was one that I saw coming. I said in my preview video, and I said after the Newcastle game, that Spurs would batter Manchester United. And that's what we did. It was an excellent performance yesterday. So brilliant. Everything came together. Everything clicked. Spurs fans have seen this coming. And United was the perfect game for us to exploit their weaknesses and show everyone exactly how good this team are under Postecoglou and how much we have improved from last season. We were relentless, we were ruthless, and we were fantastic. We're going to get into the game itself. I want to talk about Dejan Kulusevski, man of the match yesterday. I want to focus this video mainly around him because he was absolutely superb yet again in that number 8 role in midfield. And another brilliant performance from him. Don't get me wrong, Manchester United were poor yesterday, but Spurs were excellent. That result has been coming. Things have started to click, and that was the statement result that Postecoglou needed to prove to everybody else that this Spurs team are better this season. Where should we start? I want to start with our pressing, because Spurs were absolutely relentless yesterday, and that is what killed Manchester United. And that is something that I spoke about before the game. I spoke about it after Spurs played Newcastle and the high turnovers that we had in that game. And I spoke about in that video when Liverpool went there and turned them over. Winning the ball back high up the pitch and exploiting their fragility and creating chances off the back of that. I said it in my preview video. That's exactly what Spurs needed to do, and that's exactly what we went out and did. Dominic Solanke, good example again on Thursday night. I spoke about this in the build-up to this game, winning the ball back high up the pitch, turning them over and creating chances. Yesterday, Spurs were relentless in that aspect. 7 high turnovers won in the final third against Manchester United. Relentless. Look how high they are up the pitch. Look at the positions that we are winning the ball back in. You can create chances off the back of that, and that's exactly what Spurs were doing yesterday. And that is exactly where I want to start. Because Spurs were magnificent in the press yesterday. United could not breathe. They could not get out. This is the first example within the first 5 minutes of the game, after we go 1-0 up. James Maddison there. Notice his position in the middle of the park. What did I speak about after the Brentford game? His off-the-ball aggressiveness and intensity has gone up a level since he left Leicester, and it's gone up another level this season. He reads exactly what's coming here. Garnacho plays it back into Mazraoui, and look where he moves to. He's on it straight away, on Agate, and then Spurs are in, and he plays it to Solanke. We can't quite get a chance off the back of that. But that was in the first 5 minutes of the game, and that set the tone after the goal, which we'll come on and speak about that put us 1-0 up. We're going to speak about the goals, but I mainly want to focus on Dejan Kulusevski in this video because he was absolutely sensational. Again, winning the ball back high up the pitch. I think that's Porro there in a dangerous position. Solanke picks up the second ball. Again here, look, Solanke leading the press. Then you've got 4 players there ready to pounce. Dalot has to shift it quickly out to Martinez. Porro's there to win it. Again here, Solanke straight in on De Ligt. And we win the ball back. Again here, ball across the face of your own box. Johnson in there on Dalot. He nicks it back. Kulusevski gets it. Maddison with a shooting opportunity from the edge of the box. And then we come back full circle to the first opportunity. Spurs were not just excellent in our own pressing, but we were excellent in baiting Manchester United's press. Or baiting United into pressing, and us taking advantage of that. Here's a great example here, which actually leads to the chance, I believe, of Brennan Johnson hitting the post, which we're going to come on and talk about. Van de Ven here. Happy to have time on the ball. Romero, happy to have time on the ball. United have got to come out eventually. Back to the goalkeeper. Now they start to come. Xerxes, Fernandez. Back to Van de Ven. Ball down the line to Destiny Udogie. A brilliant feint. Through to Werner. Gets his little toe in there ahead of De Ligt. And Spurs are away. And look at the position that we find ourselves in. Spurs will score so many goals from these kind of positions. Brings Johnson into the game. Kulusevski again, perfect way to pass into him. And he ends up hitting the post. That reminded me so much of the Crystal Palace game away last year, where Spurs scored that second goal to really kill that game off. Crystal Palace fans were getting impatient. They wanted Palace to come and press Tottenham. We waited, we baited them into it, and we carved through them like butter. Like a knife through butter. Romero again here. Time on the ball. United have to come. Porro into Solanke. Solanke inside. Johnson inside, to Bentancur. Maddison and Kulusevski picking up these kind of positions and then being able to work the ball from right to left. All from baiting United into pressing. We spoke about in the preview video that we did that United aren't going to press that high. They will try and press. They're not going to do it from the start. They will sit back a little bit, and it's this half-baked press. And if we go back to the first example, you can see here they're in that box. They're thinking about it, and then Fernandes jumps the gun, and there's 5 players there now, and Spurs can just play out very easily. So comfortable playing out United's press. If we come back to this last example here, that baiting of the press and that working the ball from right to left leads to this chance where Dejan Kulusevski flicks the ball around the corner to James Maddison. And before I talk about Dejan Kulusevski in more detail, make sure to like and subscribe. Like the video, subscribe to the channel, that'd be much appreciated. But I want to go back to the average positions quickly, or I want to show the average positions quickly, if I just hide this. Because we can't really take too much from Man United because they were obviously down to 10 men. I want to talk about the red card and how I don't think it affected the game in any way whatsoever. Look at Spurs here, overloading that right-hand side. Werner and a doggy high and wide on that left-hand side. Being able to create overloads and working the ball from right to left and punishing them down that left-hand side. Timo Werner, I actually want to talk about Timo Werner quickly before we come back on Dejan Kulusevski. Yes, he missed those 2 chances where he went through one-on-one, but I actually think he had a pretty decent game yesterday. Got the beating of Mazraoui on a few occasions, has to show more ruthlessness in front of goal, absolutely has to. It's just unexplainable and inexcusable at this level, those 2 chances that he missed. And I think that comes from confidence. We know he's not the most confident player in the world, but the job that he did for the team yesterday, he did really well, and he deserves praise for that. And I don't want the narrative around Timo Werner after the game, although it is inevitably going to be that, about those 2 misses, because he did a lot of good work yesterday. But I want to talk about Dejan Kulusevski, because my word, he was absolutely sensational in this game. How many times have we seen him do this? Maddison fires the ball into feet on the edge of the box. We saw it in pre-season. We saw it in the first few games of the season. Little flick round the corner, back into Maddison, and the little dink over. Again, Maddison receiving the ball here in that slightly deeper position. I actually want to talk about Maddison quickly as well because I thought he was sensational yesterday. Again, in that deeper role, a few stats for you here. Key passes. These stats are in comparison to all midfielders in the Premier League so far this season. First for key passes. First for attacking actions, which is the most amount in Europe. Second for forward passes, second for progressive passes, again from that deeper position, second for crosses, and second from touches into the box. Dejan Kulusevski was excellent yesterday in that number 10 position or that number 8 position, and he will get all the plaudits, absolutely. But Maddison, again, just ticking us over in that midfield position yesterday, in that deeper midfield position yesterday. Bentancur into feet. I love this from Maddison, and you can see Kulusevski is already peeling away off of Kobbie Mainoo. If I just hide myself there. Maddison, just his body shape with these kind of passes, the way he's able to just move with the ball and glide into the pass, into Kulusevski, who again is just able to drive from that position. Good weight of pass, good timing of the pass to a doggy. Again, here in these kind of positions, picking up the ball from deep, and I want to talk about him playing that little bit deeper and why that helps Tottenham so much in build-up as much as anything. We've got a few examples of that. Again here, you back Kulusevski to break that line between Agate, Martinez and Kobbie Mainoo. He plays to find that pass to Maddison, who's made that springing run from deep, and Spurs are in. But he plays the little safe option backwards, and Spurs are able to build. A doggy picks up that position in midfield, and Spurs can drive from there. Again here, this is beautiful football from Spurs. Absolutely beautiful football. Bentancur plays this little pass into Kulusevski here. And we'll start from here. This is where the move starts. Solanke battling there on that touchline with Martinez, holding the ball up. Brilliant hold-up play. Spurs are able to work the ball back into Bentancur. Breaks the line between Mainoo and Agate with that first pass on the volley. First time, moving it quickly, recycling all the time. Winning the ball back half the pitch with relentless pressure and then just non-stop attacking threat, non-stop intensity, non-stop moving the ball forward, non-stop playing the game on the edge of Man United's penalty area. Kulusevski here, perfect way passing to Johnson, and again fires the ball across, and if Mazraoui isn't there, that's a goal for Werner. Again here, Kulusevski picking the ball up in that final third. Ball through the lines to Werner. He can potentially slip that into Solanke, but again, great way of passing to Werner, and again, the cutback there was quite wasteful in that position, Werner. But again, we talked about that relentless press and Spurs turning the ball over in Man United's final third. Kulusevski does it here. Shoves Rashford out the way, and Spurs are able to recycle. I talked about Kulusevski in build-up in those deeper positions. Romero into him here. Little layoff. Oh, apologies, that's Porro. And then plays a 1-2 with him. And he returns that 1-2 back to Pedro Porro. So good in tight spaces, in deep positions, if you're under pressure, because he's got that physicality, but he's also got that quality to do that. Again here, Maddison tries to wrap the ball into him. Mainu gets a toe on it, but Kulusevski reads it, and he's in there before Agate. Again, that physical, robust nature of Dejan Kulusevski. Happy to get clattered by Agate, pokes the ball through to Werner. Look, I'm not going to show the two Werner missed chances. I don't think they're particularly relevant to analyse the game. We've already spoken about them. He should go through and score here. But that, again, perfect way to pass from Kulusevski in that situation, under pressure as well. And here, when he does want to go wider, because he can float. If you look at the average positions, again, you can see him doing a little bit of deeper work in build-up. But again, he'll happily still float out there on that right-hand side. And here, he's so good in these wide positions because he might not be the quickest, but where he's the strongest, and he's so skillful, he's just able to lure Dalot in there, nutmeg him, and draw the foul. Did that so many times yesterday. Again here, Martinez wants to get out, wants to get touch tight to him. Can I win that physical battle? No. I'm going to get away from you, and I'm going to play that pass out wide to Werner. Into the second half now. Kulusevski picking it up in that deeper position. This is the other Werner chance. Casemiro has a nibble at him, he gets away. Agate has a nibble at him, he gets away. And he's in. And he plays a perfectly weighted pass through to Werner, who goes on to miss. But when you look at this, when you come back to this here, Casemiro is unable to stop him. Agate is unable to stop him. Dejan Kulusevski did an interview with Swedish media yesterday where he talked about playing in this new right-hand sided number 8 position. He said, I've been waiting to play in this new position and I feel unstoppable. Like I can do whatever I want. And that's exactly what he did yesterday. He made Old Trafford his playground. He had their midfield on a lead. He was absolutely fantastic yesterday. And again, just some stats to back it up. 9 chances created for Dejan Kulusevski yesterday. 9 chances. That is an absolute joke. An absolute joke. The most on record by a visiting player in a Premier League game at Old Trafford since records began in 2003-2004. And he's created the joint most chances from open play in the Premier League with Cole Palmer with 15. And he got 9 of them yesterday. 9 total. I think a couple of those might have been from set-piece situations, actually, yeah. So, but he created 9 chances overall. And look at the variety of where these chances are coming from deeper positions and on the edge of the box as well. I spoke about how effective he can be in build-up in those deeper positions, in transition as well. Those poked balls through the lines to Werner. That perfect weight of pass, but in and around the penalty area as well. This little one here, the little poked sideways pass to Porro in the second half. Little cutback situations. 9 chances created. He is an absolute monster. And in the dribble as well. Like I said here, just leaving Agate behind. No Premier League midfielder has more dribbles per 90 or progressive runs per 90 than Dejan Kulusevski in the Premier League this season. He is an absolute monster. Werner should finish off that chance. Again here, like Martinez in the first half, De Ligt tries to get out, tries to get physical, tries to get tight with him. Easy, plays the ball inside. Again here, Dalot the same. And then plays a lovely little ball to Bergvall when he comes on. And look at the space that Spurs find themselves in on the break. Absolutely brilliant from Dejan Kulusevski yesterday. It was such a complete performance. I spoke about the fact that I felt it was really important that Spurs persisted with the 2 number 10s in Dejan Kulusevski and James Maddison. Obviously, James Maddison, as we know, is playing that little bit deeper. This is how I predicted that Spurs would set up. Obviously, I had Sonny on the left-hand side. It was Werner that came in. And like I said, I think Werner did a decent job. But I said it's so important that Spurs continue to play with Maddison and Kulusevski, because I think there's this narrative that from the outside that when you would look at that Spurs team and think, God, that's attacking. God, they're going a bit gung-ho there. Kulusevski works so hard out of possession. Maddison is working so much harder out of possession now as well. Like I said, playing in that deeper role. That midfield balance, on paper, it almost shouldn't work, but it does so well. You're getting the best out of Kulusevski, you're getting the best out of Maddison right now as well, and you're getting the best out of Rodrigo Bentancur, who I thought was absolutely excellent yesterday. Again, look all over the park, winning the ball back high up the pitch, setting the tempo was sensational. We have to talk about the goals, because we went to Old Trafford and won 3-0. And look, like I said, United were poor, but I predicted this would happen. I predicted that this would happen, because I know how good we are. I saw Liverpool do this to them, winning the ball back high at the pitch, turning them over, beating them 3-0. And that's exactly what Spurs did. But Van der Ven sets the tone of the intensity early in the game with this run. This is just a joke. An absolute joke from Van der Ven. If you can't enjoy your centre-back doing that. Some people will say, look, it's just running a straight line. If you can't enjoy your centre-back doing that, my word, what can you enjoy in football? It's a freakish run, but it's becoming unfreakish because we've seen him do it twice in the Premier League. And again, it's a brilliant cross to Johnson. Van der Ven, I think, said after the game that he just smashed it across. He also said after the game, in the interview that he did, he was like, I saw the space and he thought, nah, I'm going. And he went and he assisted. It's a brilliant cross to pick out Johnson. Van der Ven was excellent again yesterday defensively. He has genuinely got world-class potential. There aren't any other centre-back profiles like him in the world. He is so unique and has got borderline... I think he's got world-class potential. He is just fantastic. And it was so fitting that we beat Man United 3-0 12 years ago to the day that Spurs beat United at Old Trafford 3-2 for the first time in a long, long time. And Jan Vertonghen set off on that run to score very early in the game. Did the old Super Jan celebration. That's what we saw from Van der Ven yesterday. But that was on another level. Brilliant. And the second goal, again, Kulusevski gets his just rewards for his superb performance. Solanke, who I thought was great again yesterday in terms of his all-round game and his hold-up, and got his deserved goal, which we'll speak about quickly afterwards as well. Solanke wins that header. Kulusevski gets in there ahead of Martinez. And Johnson, who again, brilliant from Johnson. I thought Johnson was so much better yesterday. Again, he's just building and building. That's 4 goals in 4 games now. And he's building up to something really frightening for Spurs. Solanke 3-3, Johnson 4-4. This team has got momentum. Real momentum. And he gets into the box. Look, it takes a bit of deflection on the cross. But how good is that for a finish? That is a player playing with real confidence. And I've said before, Dejan Kulusevski with confidence is a scary player. He might be the most underrated player in the Premier League anyway. Or certainly the most underrated attacker or midfielder. Or whatever you want to call him in this role. But that finish is just nonchalant. It's got finesse for someone who is robust, someone who is direct, someone who is so strong, someone who is so get out my way. He's got so much quality on the ball, and that finish is just a joke. And then, obviously, we get the third from the corner. It's despicable marking from Man United, by the way. Solanke completely unmarked. Sarr gets the flick on and Solanke pokes it in. Great cross as well from Bergvall. We should talk about the red card. I'll be honest, I thought it was harsh. I don't think you can have too many complaints, Bruno Fernandes, because he is very high. It's not really studs up. But again, if you look at this, the red card didn't change the game. In the 42nd minute, before the red card, Spurs had 60% possession, nearly 100 more passes than them, over 20 more touches in the opposition box than them. We had 12 shots, and we have 4 shots on target. Spurs created 9 big chances in the game yesterday. Manchester United created 0 on their home ground. It was going this way before the red card. And I'm convinced the result would have still been the same. So Spurs were absolutely excellent at breaking the press, at pressing United. In transition, we were excellent. Decision-making was excellent. We managed the game well. We had a tough period in the second half a little bit where they were starting to get a little bit of a foothold back in the game. But Spurs were excellent. And there's been this narrative that Ange has been under pressure. What pressure? Pressure is for tyres, as Alan Shearer said. Because he's not under pressure. He didn't need that statement victory to prove to Spurs fans, or most of Spurs fans, what he could achieve at this club. He maybe needed it for the media a little bit. And I imagine he's sitting there feeling very smug right now, Ange Postecoglou, because, again, he's been coaching wins in these games. And he's got a statement win. We beat Villa at Villa Park last season. And it almost reminded me a little bit of that, because it was almost like, well, they can't get near us, so they're going to kick us. That's what Fernandes did. That's what McGinn did. It was that kind of level of performance where you sit back and think, wow, this is what this team really can be. We can't not talk about Mikey Moore, because I don't know about you guys. The noise that I made in the away end yesterday at Old Trafford when he unleashed this shot on goal, I thought it was in. The way the away end is angled at Old Trafford, kind of on the corner, we're kind of behind it, I thought it was curling in. But again, to show that bravery and that confidence to take that on, I haven't got the screenshots of it, but the build up to this, the ball control from him to shift it away from Eriksen is absolutely superb. And look, Ange trusts him. And I get why people have been frustrated that he hasn't seen much game time. He's a 17-year-old kid who came on and did that at Old Trafford. Look, he didn't score, but he showed that confidence to do that, and we can't not talk about it. But Spurs were absolutely excellent yesterday and fully deserved that 3-0 victory. Dejan Kulusevski, our player of the season so far. Everybody is waking up to how good he is, and I think people are going to start waking up to how good Spurs are. Make sure to like the video and subscribe to the channel if you are new. And I'll see you in the next one after Ferencvaros on Thursday back in the Europa League.